Hello guys, Joe with BitRaged. So I want to go into Bitcoin here, show you some recent developments since the live stream and some scenarios you can look at to play out for the future so you can capitalize on Bitcoin. If you look here on the weekly chart, you can see a very impulsive close on the weekly chart. We're just starting this weekly candle here. And so since we have such an impulsive candle here on the weekly chart, it would be much more likely at this stage to get some sort of continuation here to continue to move to the downside. If we jump down a degree to the daily chart, you can start to see that even further. You just look here, it's just a few days of low momentum corrective movement. You draw a line here, that's just a correction. This would be the move down, this would be the correction to then move lower. It's very clear there on the daily chart. If we jump down to a 4-hour, I'll show you what I'm looking at. So I'm separating the two patterns. And the reason I'm doing this is I believe we're looking at an incomplete pattern here. And I think the market is going to show us a lot clearer what we're going to see. So in this case, you can see we just had a flag here. It sold, moved back up. This is very likely just wash trading. So we sold, moved back up. What I'm looking at is this as a pattern and more of this. So we have just an ascending corrective movement here. It starts to sell off a little bit, and if we jump down to the 1 hour, it's kind of interesting what's happening now. So it starts to sell off a little bit and then stalls here in this area. Previously we had in this, you can see it just runs straight through price. We could evolve it to here, which is valid. But what I'm doing is just moving it in a bit so we can focus on what happens here. And the reason for that is I think we may be looking at this kind of structure here where this is just an ascending move and then we get some sort of correction here to then sell. So if we get a few more hours of just corrective movement, just like these candles here, so a few more hours just like this, I'd be looking to take that as a short down to here. Now, if we do take that as a short, the market gives us that indication. I'd be looking here. So we have 1, 2, 3. I'd be looking there to see if we get any kind of reaction. If we get a reaction there, I think it's possible that we'll move back up. Now, at that stage, if we do get that, this is planning ahead, and you should always plan 10 steps ahead because a lot of traders trade behind the market. They follow the market. We want to be ahead of the market, so whatever happens, we're planned for. If we do get a reaction here, it's possible that it turns around, moves up, breaks the high just slightly, or the high of the pattern, comes back down, moves back up, and then sells. Because all that would give us is that kind of pattern where this would just be part of a bigger continuation to then sell. The reason we're looking at that is based on where we came from. Heavy momentum to the downside. We're looking for continuation. You look on the daily chart, it's very clear, just continuation to the downside. Now, with the volatility here, with this volatility, we had a big candle down, a big candle up. With that volatility, that's one of the reasons I'm separating the two patterns. And I'm looking at this, that it just sells and keeps going from here. So we need to forecast the possibility that it does react down here because we have seen a reaction there in the past. About 6,000. The market hasn't been below that this year. But I'm also looking at this as its own pattern to potentially see this just give us a few more hours here to then sell. Now, if we don't get that and it moves back up, I'd be aware of the high here to see any kind of reaction. It would not be unlikely to see this break the high just slightly and then come back to the downside. Would not be unlikely to see that at all. So if I remove this, because that may be slightly confusing, if this does move up, what does that give you? Well, it's important to see these scenarios. So if this just kind of creeps its way up to here, even breaks the high a little bit and then sells, that's perfectly fine because all we have there, that would just be the continuation to then sell. So there's a couple scenarios and the pattern could form in a few different ways, but at this stage, I'm just looking at continuation to the downside until the market gives me some other indication. And at this stage, we don't have an indication of anything other than continuation to the downside. And so that's what I'm looking at, just separating the patterns. If we do sell and we don't get a reaction here at the trend line, which is the intersection here of the beginning of the correction, I'd be looking down here at outer structure at about 5,000, 51, 5,200, that area there to see any kind of reaction. So that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. There is no entry right now. So if we get a few more hours here, that'll be a flag, that'll be an entry. But as of right now, we don't have an entry to trade. So keep that in mind. You don't have to trade every second of the day to be successful. Let the market give you those optimal entries, those pristine entries, even if it's not super clean, but at least have a reason for your entry. So that's a pretty quick overview of Bitcoin. It's pretty simple. It does look more descending at this stage, and that's why I am forecasting the possibility that we do get a reaction here and then move back to the upside. It is possible. So I'm not just, some people think that we're just permanently bearish. We are not. This was coming to the downside. This, if it does react here, will move back to the upside. That's just how the market works. So we are keeping that in mind, but also forecasting right now, it's just looking more like a sell. So I hope that gives you an idea of what to look for here on the chart, so you can capitalize on the moves that Bitcoin does give us. But that's going to do it. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care now.